afternoon, then start picking up again this evening and overnight tonight. And so by tomorrow morning, lower elevations, again, gusts probably around the 30 to 50 mile an hour range. And one thing to note is across the fire, you're going to see your strongest winds across branch 7. For the other 3 branches, you can probably knock maybe 10 to 15 miles per hour off those wind speeds. So your windiest spots, again, is going to be branch 7. Humidity is dropping down to the teens today. Recoveries tonight would be minimal, if anything at all. So again, just keep in mind, red flag warning means critical conditions through the operational period, both today and tonight.
Fire behavior.
Good morning, Rob Clark, one of the fire behavior analysts on the Palisades incident. You can find your fire behavior forecast on page 4 of your IAP. Please take that information back to your crews and brief them on it, very specific information on it. I want you guys all to look around right now. All this group here, this is an unprecedented group. We're here on an almost 24,000 acre fire before the 2nd week of January, and we've been here almost a week. Keep that in mind for those environmental conditions that are aligning our fire weather conditions. I want to break it down back to some basics, our fuels, weather, and topography. Our fuels across this incident are primarily grass and shrub and brush fuel models. They're at very critically dry levels for this time of the year. Our weather, our north to northeast winds that are affecting this fire area have been affecting this fire area for the last week, and even before that for several rounds. That has critically dried our fuels and prepared them for active burning. Even though you might not see activity on our fire currently or very isolated pockets, the possibility and the ability for fires to become active or new fire starts is high probability. Keep that in mind when they're out there. We do have IA responsibility around the fire area, so that these values in your fire behavior forecast are valid for those areas. Let's talk about our, for our winds in those peak windy conditions, you could expect in alignment spotting distances a mile to a mile and a half if fire becomes established outside of our control lines. Keep that in mind when you're making your plans. Our probability of ignition today will be near 80%. Our energy release components and our burning indexes are over the 90th percentiles, so those fuels and the weather conditions are in alignment. Our topography, if we think about it, our topography in this area, the coastal range with the numerous intersecting drainages that are going on in there, those are in alignment and out of alignment. Keep that in mind where you guys are working out there. Watch out for fire in the bottom of drainages, or if it gets established in there, terrain-driven topographic runs are going to be possible. For you out of the area resources, there is a QR code on our IAP forecast that will list the local thresholds for this area. While you're out there, be alert for ash pits after long residence time of burning, fire weakened trees and vent infrastructure. And then when you're working around any of the burnt structures, be mindful to keep down the disturbance of those ash. We don't want you guys getting in there and breathing any of that materials in there. Have a safe shift.
Work assignments with operations.
Good morning, everybody. Christian Litz, operations here on the Palisades Fire. I'm going to start this up in the drop point 69 by Division Victor. That's going to be the main focus today. We need to get those resources in there to validate the line that's there and complete. Really get that line completed and push hard and build some security on that edge over there. Get some depth, some mop up in there to secure that edge, because in my opinion, that's where we're going to worry about if something does jump over here as it pushes down into Topanga, the Sylvia Parks, and the Topanga Oaks area. So lock that in for me on that side and build a plan as a secondary containment line, just something unexpected happens, and prepare for the future. Up around the top, coming around the rest of the fire, the Dirt Mulholland coming down into the Mandeville area. Again, continue to secure that edge. We want to stop any northern progression. I think we're looking good with the wind helping us up there, but mop that up, get some depth, secure the edge. Coming into Mandeville, we got to finish that line piece up there. It's very important. Finish that little bit of line in there, and then as they continue to work behind those structures, mop up, get some depth, make sure that we have no adverse fire damage to these structures that we come in. Coming into West Ridge, as we move down, same thing. Get inside those structures, mop up around them, get some depth, secure that edges even as you're coming down into the Riviera area, that Santa Monica border into Division, Charlie, and Foxtrot. Get deep inside those structures. It's not over yet. The wind comes up. It's like a campfire with the wind might kick up sparks, so we want to make sure that we secure everything that we do. As we come around in the Pacific Palisades area, up to Mescal Canyon, up the Palisades Drive, get deep inside the structures. Branch 5's been doing really good work over the last couple of days. Just continue that for me. Concentrate on those structures that are still standing. Make sure the space around them is very defensible and no fuel that can get in there and carry it into the structures. Again, coming down to the Topanga area, down below Malibu, all along the coast, coming to the Division break. Same thing, get inside those structures, work alongside the USAR component that's going to be out there so they can do some searching and gridding out there. Support them as best you can, and we'll get this done and help everybody out. Remember, our main focus is always the public that we serve. Coming into the Division Tango as we move up, just continue to patrol that, make sure nothing happens over there, but it is against the burn scar, so it's looking good. Coming up atop here, the Division uniform in that Montanito area, secure that line, make sure, validate that everything's in, continue to build depth in the mop up and secure those edges, make plans for the future, and then coming around the Saddle Peak area, Payuma Canyon, Saddle Peak, into Tuna Canyon, back into the Fernwood area, get inside those structures, validate the line, and secure it as we're talking about there. We do have structured defense groups. Those structured defense groups, you're there not only to build plans for this fire, but you're also there as a quick response force that can easily go out and hit any new IA, new starts within the TFR, and even be ready to respond to something outside of that, because we want to hit those new starts fast, make sure that we keep those new starts small so that doesn't affect everything. And then lastly, talking about the contingency. Contingency has done a phenomenal job building that other depth layer for preparedness just in case something happens. So they're going to continue that, work the ridge systems on the north side of the fire, and then they've even worked a little bit on the east side there of a 405. Today, I'd like to go ahead and thank communications. Very important, a common denominator on all fatalities and dangers that we have, it's always communication. So thank you to communications, allowing us to communicate and continue monitoring that we have good communications between everybody else. Remember, we can talk about them, we just can't talk without them. Thank you, be safe.
Roll call with resources.
Good morning, Larry Passero, Resource Unit Leaders for the Palisades. Please turn to page 2 in your IAP for your 203. This is our branch and division roll call. When you hear your name, please stand up, raise your hand, and sound off so everybody knows who you are. Branch 1, Mancebo, with Chrisman trainee. Division Alpha, Cowan, with Barrios trainee. In Charlie, Pereira, with Bridger trainee. In Mandeville Structure Group, Flynn, with Peterson. Moving on to Branch 5, Scoville. He's at the other camp. Juliet Chapman, Mike Cassell, trainee. In Division Mike, we're going to have Cassone with Watson, trainee. In the USAR group, Dix. In Branch 7, Schwab with Smith and Tucker, trainee. Division Papa, Long. In Tango, we have Thomas. In Union, Velasquez with Maitri, trainee. And in Victor, Hernandez with Montoya, trainee. Topanga Structure Group, Asadas with Markley, trainee. In Branch 10, we have Bontrager with Milton, trainee. In Yankee, we have Chapman with Ruanu, trainee. And in Zulu, Schmidt with Scott, trainee, and Tafoya, trainee. Encino Structure Group, Vickers with Wilson, trainee. In our contingency group, Matthews with Orneas, trainee. And in our West contingency, Peterson with Renendez. And in our East contingency, Didi with Todashini. Thanks and have a good shift.
Air operations.
Good morning, everybody. Byron Vance, Team 2 Air Operations. For you guys today, we have over 40 helicopters assigned to this incident out of Camarillo to support you, as well as 10 additional helicopters that will be conducting night operations. We have a large contingency of fixed-wing aircraft as well, including 8 C-130s from the National Guard and 2 DC-10 very large air tankers to support you. What that means is it's extremely important that everybody monitors that air-to-ground frequency. Maintain your situational awareness, know where those aircraft are working, and clear the line. We'll also be conducting UAS operations today in Branch 7 and Division Charlie. Have a great day.
Medical.
Good morning. Fred DeAquisto, Medical Unit Leader for the Palisades incident. You can find today's medical plan on page 37 of your IAP. Please review this with all your personnel all the way down to the lowest level. I can't stress enough how important it is for everybody to understand how this works and the procedure to follow and all of the information we need to get from you. Everybody's been good so far about getting us information when the incidents have occurred on the line, so please keep up that good work and review those 2 boxes at the bottom of that medical plan. Those are the most important parts. The procedure on the left is a flow chart of how to make that happen, and then the information on the box on the right is everything we need to get for you. I have peer support set up in a yurt tent just past Calumet, going to the west along the outside of Trailer Row on the beach. Please see them if you need to speak with them and feel the need to sit and talk with somebody. It's very important to take care of yourself. Additionally, Calumet is here. As I mentioned, they're along the beach as well. Please see them for any medical needs or any medical supplies you need for today. Chapstick, sunscreen, all those things, they have them all. Come see them if you need. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me in Trailer Row or the number at the bottom of the IAP. Have a safe shift.
Communications.
Good morning, Susan Perez, Communications Unit Leader for the Palisades incident. If you'll turn to pages 38 and 39 in your IAP, you'll find today's 205. The frequencies on this 205 are the only frequencies authorized to be used by personnel on this incident. Please check your radios to be sure that you're up to date on your radio clone. The most current version is Palis E2 and Palis W2. And lastly, there will be radio techs available in both the Zuma Beach and Malibu camps to assist with cloning, equipment checkout, and radio repairs. Thank you.
Safety.
Good morning, Nate LaRusso, Palisade Safety. I'd like to point out the safety products in your IAP on pages 5-6, and we'll have 10 safety officers on the line to support the operation. As we go into today, we want to talk about a couple things. First, we want to commend everyone on this incident for the exceptional safety record we have to date. Although we've had a bunch of minor injuries, we are still sitting at 0 significant injuries, so that is quite an accomplishment given the amount of work and the hazards that exist out on the line. Doesn't mean there's not still work to do. PPE, make sure you're using your eye protection and your hand protection when you're out on the line. A little speck of dust in your eye can ruin your day. If you're doing overhaul or mop up, putting your hand down in a hot ash pit without gloves on could ruin your day, potentially your career. Okay. As we go out there and you're working around structures, make sure you're using N95 masks, which are available in supply. Make sure your crews have those so that we prevent those short-term and long-term injuries. We don't want to take any of that stuff back in our lungs. We want to protect ourselves as much as possible. You're going to hear us sound like a broken record with driving because it still continues to be a problem. We have crews that are driving way too fast, blowing through stoplights that are out, blowing through stop signs. Please drive with all due regard and treat everybody else like they're going to hit you and be ready for an accident. If you just slow down a little bit, you make an exponential increase towards safety of yourself and others on the road. Okay. As we go out there today, we want to make sure that you are taking care of yourselves. Okay. We have lived in a state of readiness in Southern California for several months. This has been an unprecedented season. You've heard that over and over. Okay. When you live in that constant state of alert, the fatigue sets in, and it's immeasurable, and it will continue to get you later on in your careers. We have an exceptional peer support team that's here. Check in with them. We have a psychologist on the team. Go unpack some of that baggage now before you get home and have to unpack it with your family, with your wife. Make sure that you're leaving here clear-headed because we are not done with this fight. You have to stay engaged, you have to stay clear-headed, and you have to stay ready. Take advantage of the resources, take advantage of the help while it's here. Stay engaged, have a safe shift.
Logistics.
Good morning, Scott Irvine, Palisades Logistics. Just some logistics messages for today. We have fuel at the far end of camp. All branch 1 and 5 resources will be logistically supported out of the Malibu camp. Once again, go through your line leadership for all line orders so we get them on time and once again, all the logistical support for branch 1 and 5 will be at the Malibu camp. Have a safe shift.
Training specialist.
Good morning, Jeremy Cernansky, training specialist. Just a quick few reminders for any trainees. Please make sure you come check in with us. Bring your initiated task book and your qualification card. We can be found across from the motels trailer on Trailer Row. Any evaluators, please make sure you're continuing to work on the 225 and eval page in your trainee's task book. If you have any questions, please come find us. We'll be available and we'll be here for quite a bit. Thank you.
Announcement from finance. They want you to take a look at that finance message that's in your IAP. From our liaison, if you're a private fire agency, please come see the liaisons up here at the front of the stage after briefing, and a message from our public information officer.
Good morning, everybody. Thomas Schutz, Public Information for the Palisades Fire. Got some updated numbers for you. If you could turn to page 46 in your IAP, we'll give you the updated acreage, containment, and total personnel. Acreage for this morning, 23,713. We're at 14% containment and an impressive 5,123 personnel assigned to this incident. The community is so very appreciative for everything you guys are doing out there. We're on the receiving end for a lot of that. We want to make sure we share that with you. So keep up the great work. The media is out and about in full force. We have a lot of PIOs out there trying to support that. Please know that the media is allowed to be out there. They do not need to have an escort. So support them as much as possible to trying to tell that story to the locals, to the folks who can't come back to their homes, and truly to the world. So anything you can do to help tell the story, please stay out of anything controversial. That's what we're here to support you. The numbers for the media and for the public information are up on top of the sheet. We have a mailing address for this camp. There was a slight change in the address that we're using, so note that change at the bottom. And if you've ever mailed anything to camp, it's a little bit of a gamble. So don't send stuff just to send stuff. Make sure that you actually need it, and we'll do our best to get you the package. And we are the Lost and Found. We're starting to collect quite a few things, as you can imagine. So we have a trailer down in Trailer Row. You can find it easily because there's a blue trailer that's also one of our trailers out on the roadside. Look for that. You can go to either one. We'll get you hooked up with the Lost and Found. Thanks so much, guys.
Now our unified incident commanders.
Well, good morning. Jim Hudson, representing your Palisades Incident Management Team Incident Commanders. Over 5,000 personnel and growing. That is the scope and scale of this incident, and we're continuing to grow. I'd like to welcome our international firefighters from Mexico, as well as the British Columbia Incident Management Team that arrived last night. Thank you for being here. It was a good day yesterday. Very little growth on this incident, but we are still in a very dynamic situation here. We're under a red flag event. We're going to have gusty winds. So the expectation today is that everyone remains diligent and flexible. We expect that any flare-ups or hot spots are addressed aggressively and safely. And as we're out here today, please remember that we are also going to support any new and emerging incidents in this area. So as you go out today, remain diligent, remain flexible, and most importantly, make sure that you are briefed on your alternate and contingency plans should we see any significant changes in the weather or have to respond to new areas in or around this incident. Everybody's doing an excellent job here. We've seen very little fire growth percentile-wise since Friday. The majority of this fire occurred before Friday morning, and that's because of the hard work you're doing. Keep it up. The expectations will stay the same, that we remain aggressive and safe, and we'll get through this, so thank you.
All right, as you look around the back of the briefing areas, your branch and division breakouts, unassigned resources meet here at the front of the stage. Cooperators meeting at 1000 hours, and a planning meeting 1700 hours back here at this stage. Next operational briefing be at 0700 here at the main stage. Have a good shift.